Well, it's a couple days later, and some side projects are done here on the homestead, so I get to get back to this 81 Datsun 720 pickup. And today I'm going to take a look, see if this engine's locked up, check some fluids, and other general condition on this engine, and then we'll see if we might be able to at least crank it over. Okay, so first things first, just a general look at it. This new carb that went on that never got used is a little bit sticky, but this linkage is completely bound on it, so this carb's going to have to come off and be looked at. The other thing in looking at it is I don't notice the wiring's not chewed up or in bad shape. We know we had mice in it. There are obvious telltale signs there were mice in this vehicle, but the wiring is in pretty good shape. So that's a good blessing. So let's throw a wrench on. It looks like the closest thing that's available is probably going to be this power steering pulley. And we'll see if this engine spins over. All right, here we go. Oh, someone's hammered over the side of the washer on this power steering pump, probably to keep that nut from coming off. Oh, nice. Yeah, we're spinning over. Holy crap, it's got decent compression. So yeah, that's great to see. Get that off of there. My gosh, I didn't expect that. That's beautiful, because it has been sitting for 10 years. It ran when it was parked, but how many of those stories do we all hear? Take a look at oil on it. Oh, it's black. It had plenty, but it's black. I don't know the exact maintenance history on it. Oh yeah, we're black, but we're completely full. I don't know the complete maintenance history on it, but this was owned by a rural fire department here in my neck of the woods, who I'm assuming did some kind of regular maintenance on it, but you never know. Take a quick look. It's got a double roller timing chain, and just what I can see through this filler cover, it's not in too bad a shape, so that's pretty nice. One thing, if you're not familiar with the 720s, is that these engines had a dual coil setup, and they've actually got 2 spark plugs per cylinder. So this 4-cylinder's got 8 plugs. One set of plugs fires normally, the other set of plugs fires either advanced or retarded. I can't remember. I think it is retarded, and it's meant to be a little bit more of a clean burning kind of an engine. So yeah, this is great. I'll try to find a working battery. We'll pop it in here. One other thing I did notice on this poor old thing, I took a quick look at brakes and clutch in it already too. We've got brake pedal, and it's a little concerning. It doesn't fall to the floor, which is nice, but it's a little stiff. But the clutch pedal just dangles. So the clutch rod is in place. I noticed that already. The clutch master cylinder is full, and so that's good. When we look at the slave clutch for this particular engine, it's kind of hard to see, but it's just down there behind that starter. You can barely see it peeking out down there. It does not move when the clutch pedal is pushed, so we're going to have to troubleshoot that at some point too. So I think next I'm going to try to find a battery. We'll drop a battery in this and see if it'll spin over with the key. I've just had to run in the house to grab the keys for the little Datsun, and this is what you often see out here. It's my friends, the deer. They come out and they'll often get right up on my elbow and watch what's going on, help me work. It's good to have a buddy with you when you're doing automotive projects. Well, the only alternative, it looks like, is a deep cell battery that I have. That's way too big of a battery for this. But it's hooked up. There was no arcing or sparking. So I don't think I have anything hot in the vehicle. So let's see if at least it'll bump over. Well, the fuel pump's running, but no start. And it looks like the four-wheel indicator is on too. I wonder if this thing's got a clutch lockout. Let's see. No, it shows we got 12 volts on the voltmeter also, and I'm smelling fuel. Houston, we have fuel, and boy, is it old fuel. So the good sign is this old fuel pump's pumping. Oh yeah, we got wet fuel everywhere. Good Lord. How about that? So these things don't have a starter relay. That starter switch actually energizes these starters. So I think I'm gonna pause this for a little bit. We'll do some maintenance on this starter, which means I'm probably gonna get a hammer and beat on it a little bit and see if we can free something up. And we'll go on from there. Well, I got back at it, started beating on the starter a little bit, and that didn't seem to help at all. I did look for a fuse for the fuel pump, and it turns out that the fuel pump fuse is also the coil number 1 fuse, so that's not going to do to unhook it. So the fuel sending unit, wiring, pump wiring, and all comes down into a little box here on this side of the vehicle. And as I was working on it, I remembered this thing used to sit in a bunch of berry bushes, and it makes it really difficult to work on sometimes. So we still need to go back through and do a pretty comprehensive berry bush delete on it everywhere. That'll be one thing that'll help. So next, I'm going to check for voltage down at the starter, and we'll see what we get there. Since it looks like I'm going to have to start chasing some wiring in this, I thought I'd go ahead and get in here and clean it out. It's been a while since it's had a cleaning. And yeah, we've got some activity for mice. And I'd rather not be working directly in mouse droppings. So I'm going to take a few minutes here. We'll vacuum this guy out and make it a little bit more presentable to work on. Okay, we're going to do a quick continuity test on this ignition switch. On these old 720s, it's easier to pull them out to test them rather than standing on your head inside the cabin of the machine. So I'm going to use my digital multimeter. We're going to put it on the ohms scale, on the lowest scale. And the book says when we're in on position, we should have continuity between accessory and B, which we do. We've only got about 3 ohms. That's good. And we should have continuity to ignition, which is this terminal. By the way, the color on these wires makes no difference whatsoever. So that looks good too. We got about 2 ohms. And then it says we should have continuity between B and start when we go to the start position on this switch. So right now we've got nothing. Turn it over to start. Yep, got 2.2 ohms. So that's a good ignition switch. And now we know whatever problem we have with this thing not starting is not this switch. We're down to wiring or the starter. And I have some cleaner on the starter connections because they have 45 years of grime on them. So we'll work on that next. Well, I just checked all those starter connections and they're still pretty bound up, full of crap on them. So I shot them with some more cleaner. In the meantime, what we're going to do, since this carburetor linkage is fully bound up and it's not responding to any carburetor cleaner, we're going to get this carburetor off of here. So it's not typical of Japanese engineering, but they made these carb bolts impossible to get off with a socket because of the angle, unless you got a wobble bit of some sort. So we're going to get in here with a wrench. I think these are these 12s. No, looks like it's a 13. We're going to get this dude off of here. It's going to take a little bit just because it's got to be done by hand. So just bear with the process. Not sure why the backside of this carburetor is so nasty. As I said, it was a brand new one, and I know we've had mice under here. And, you know, mice mess up everything they touch. Don't believe what you see in, like, movies like Ratatouille. Mice and rats and all that, they're filthy. And they pee everywhere and they poop everywhere. So this is probably just a bunch of mouse pee that's got the thing gummed up. So we'll see. There we go. It's all loose. Didn't drop any hardware yet. The washers are still on here. Let's get those off real quick. Yeah, didn't drop any hardware, he said. Then he promptly dropped hardware. So we can see the shape this guy's in. It's definitely going to need some attention. So we'll get it inside on a bench and see what we can do to get it freed up. Well, I've torn this Weber down a little bit and found out that some of the linkage is okay on it, but some others pretty stuck, and I don't know why. The accelerator pump is still loose and free, but the whole mechanism on this primary side is bound up for some reason, so I'm going to have to take a little further look at it, but I think that's going to be all for the video today. Thanks everyone for watching. Leave me any comments if I'm messing something up or if there's something else you'd like to see.